Teeter-tottering on a book slump, and I've never been in one, and I know how not to get in one, but everything I've been doing has not really been working, and I feel like I'm just on the precipice of book slump, so I need a good book. So not that I don't have books in my own house that I could read, hence the bookshelf behind me. I want to go to the bookstore. Anytime I go to the bookstore, I get re-inspired to read. I also think that because I have such like a wide range of genres that I like now, it's making me almost like not know what to like pick up next. Right now, I'm reading a novel Christmas, which is super cute. I have so many Christmas books that are on my TBR that I actually want to read this year. I feel like I had a few rollover from last year that I didn't actually end up like finishing, and I just want to finish all my Christmas books this year. I love reading Christmas books in the season, but I never read them like when it's not Christmas season. So what better time than to read it this year? I'm about halfway through this one, and it's really cute. It's about a girl who is a writer, but she kind of needs to be re-inspired to like start writing again, and she meets this firefighter like used to play for the NFL, like he's very well known, and like that's kind of where I'm gonna leave you because I don't want to like spoil anything, but it's really cute so far. Definitely giving Hallmark vibes, which I love Hallmark. I have Hallmark Plus, which I don't know who has that other than like grandmothers, but I do. I love Hallmark, and I don't even watch TV that often, but when I do, I want it to be something like cutesy and cozy and just like predictable. So Christmas and Christmas books are my favorite, but I do think for a book slump specifically, like you need to read books that are like different or are gonna really engage you, and something predictable isn't really something that does that. So I wanna go browse the bookstore, but I also wanna go in with no budget, no limit, like literally no cap as to like the amount of books I can get. Usually I kind of go in and I'm like, okay, like I don't really want to get more than 5 books or more than 4 books, or you know what I mean? Like I kind of am like, if I'm spending $100, like we can't go over that. Like that's like my max, but we're not gonna do that today. We are gonna go in, just pick up anything, take home anything that like really pulls my attention and is something that I want to read. I also want to be like more open to trying different types of books. I feel like this year I've been doing that a lot, and it's been like a great payoff. So I think if I do that more, maybe I'll end up kind of getting out of this like, I don't know, it's not a book slump, but it's like I can tell I'm like right there. You know what I mean? Like when you're about to get in a book slump, it's like you pick up a book, you kind of like it, but you're kind of like, am I gonna like really like it when I get into it kind of thing. I do think I'm gonna finish this book in this video because I'm halfway through it, so I don't really have very much left. And I think that finishing this book and getting into another one will be really fun. I don't know if I'll get into another one in this video, but I think I'll definitely finish this one. You guys have been loving the long vlog, so I'm just keeping them rolling because I like that too. So after we go to the bookstore, I need to go pick up dinner, and I also need to go, do I need to? No. Do I want to? Yes. I want to go to Sephora and pick up like some of my favorites that I haven't picked up in a long time. I don't know if I'll make it there because Sephora is like on the other side of town, and I live out like by the lake, and like that's not near like town, which isn't like far, but it's like far enough. And it's not close to where I'm going to get dinner. Like that's on the other side of town. Like it's just, I'm going opposite direction. So we'll see where I end up like making it to. I know for sure I want to go to the bookstore, and I for sure need to go pick up dinner. Hopefully we can squeeze Sephora in there and get some stuff from there. But then I'll come back and give you guys a haul. How's that sound? Sound good? Also, I have to say, I've been watching so many book creators that need more hype, and for one, I want to say thank you guys for 50,000 of you guys being here. That feels unreal to me. If you guys go back to my old videos from 2018, you guys will see that like I started this just a girl, a camera, not even a camera, my phone, just like looking at the screen, just like talking to it. And I've been watching so many creators that I love, like Brie, Rosalie, like I think her name's Kendra's Bookish Vibes. I can't remember. It's Bookish Vibes. I always just think like that's the bookish vibes like girly. There's just so many creators that I love, and obviously Bestie Kalila, like there's so many like Black creators that need more hype, just that are amazing. And I want to encourage you, if you're someone who's making videos that you just like feel like no one's really seeing your stuff, that's fine. Like keep doing what you're doing. My videos from when I first started, they're definitely better, but like there were years and years and years of me having like good content and no one like saw it, and I would get like 200 views a video or 10 views a video or like 100 views, and it doesn't mean your content's bad, and it doesn't mean that the videos you're sharing or your perspective or anything is bad. It just means that your besties haven't found you yet. And I feel so grateful to have found my besties, you guys. Like it could get me emotional. I'm not gonna let it get me emotional, but it really could, because like it feels like a dream to have so many of us hang out in one space. One day I want to do a meetup, but you know, your girl gets like scared meeting people. I actually met one of you guys at the mall the other day. You're like, oh my god, I love your videos, and I was like, oh, thank you, thanks so much, appreciate you, okay, goodbye. Like I just am so awkward in person. I don't know what it is. So maybe one day I'll get more comfortable, but let's head over to the bookstore and go get some books. I've been gravitating towards the fiction area so much, which is wild, because if you told me a year ago I would be in the contemporary fiction section, you would, like, I would not believe you if you said that. But there's just so many good books in here, and I'm finding that there are a lot of contemporary fiction books that have like ties of romance in them, which I didn't realize. And I'm also really loving historical fiction these days. Like, I don't know, it's just, it's been a nice thing to read, especially in cozy season. I still, of course, love romances, but historical fiction has just really been hitting lately. It's also really nice when you know authors. Like I used to just look through the shelves and I wouldn't know anyone's names or anything, and now I can like better understand who writes in this section, which has made picking books in this section a lot easier too. I've heard so many great things about this book. It's about a woman and her life in the 1920s, and I think she ends up having like 5 kids or something like that. But this book does not have a lot of dialogue. Like you see like very few page breaks, which is a pretty good indicator of like when you'll see dialogue in the book. So I think I might hold off on this one, but eventually maybe I'll get to the point where dialogue won't be like as big of a deal to me in books. I know I shouldn't judge books by their cover, but I've heard this book is so good, but the cover looks so boring to me. I was an English literature major and we read a lot of books like this, and I feel like, at least with this like type of cover, and I feel like these books were so boring, or these types of books, that I really just like got turned off of contemporary fiction. So I don't want to scare myself and not want to come back to this genre. I think one of the best crossover authors to get you into like contemporary fiction is TJR. Taylor Jenkins Reid's books have like very minimal romance in them, but it's still there, and her books were some of the first that like got me into reading books that aren't romance, because the romance was still there, it just wasn't like the focal point, and I love her book. I got this book from Reese Witherspoon's book club last year, and I ended up giving it to one of my friends because she really likes like historical fiction and contemporary fiction, and I didn't at the time, but now I'm kind of mad. Like I wish that I kept it, because now I feel like I'm into this genre and this would be a perfect book for me to read now. I found a book that mixes contemporary or historical fiction and like magical realism, I think. I can't really say for sure. It's set in 1924 and it has like magical elements, but I don't know, it looks really good, but I just don't know if I'll like it because the magical elements. It's called The Revisioners by Margaret Wilkerson Sexton, and it just came out, I think this year. It's her debut book. Someone told me when I started getting into historical fiction, they were like, you've got to read the love songs of W.E.B. Du Bois, and I can tell you, I don't think I will ever read this book. Guys, this book is like 800 pages long. It's 790 pages. How? I need to know how. How are you guys reading this? I read A Little Life by Ani Yangahara, and it took me like a month and a half to read that book, which hot take, I did not like that book. I did a whole hour-long vlog about it. I was not obsessed with it as everyone else was, but it took me like a month and a half, and this is like a same type of book where it's like very small text. It is thick. I genuinely don't think I'll ever read this book, but I do want to read The House of Eve by Sadiko Johnson because I read Yellow Wife and really loved it. I actually read Yellow Wife because I felt like it would be a good introduction to this author's writing, and I felt like if I fell in love with her writing, I would be more inclined to pick up like this longer book, because the other book was like under 300 pages and this one's like 365, which is like still fine, but I feel like trying new authors for me is so much easier when the book is shorter, and now I cannot wait to read this. Her writing is just so good. I was actually talking to one of you guys on TikTok, and you said that you are reading this and you're really loving it so far, and it kind of starts off with a bang, which I feel like Yellow Wife did too, so I really want to read that. But I feel like I've gotten my fill of historical fiction. I have 4 books already in my basket, and I've barely been shopping, and I haven't even been to the thriller or the romance section. But I guess this is what happens when you don't like put parameters on when you're buying books. Like usually I'll go into a section, I'll be like, okay, I get 1 book from contemporary fiction, 1 book from thriller, you know what I mean? Like I'll just, in my mind, I'm like, you can only get so many, so you need to like put them in your basket and then eventually take some out that you don't like, but I'm just gonna keep them all in. So I just feel like I'm gonna leave with so many books. I am reading this book right now for another vlog, and guys, this book is so good, but I cannot tell you how much this book would be like widely loved by people if the cover was different. This cover is so ugly to me, and I say to me, like maybe somebody else likes it, but it reminds me of like a book that my like mom would read, or like grandma or something. Like it just is not giving like summer, and it isn't giving the vibe of this book at all. It is so good so far. I'm reading it for another vlog, so you guys will like see my thoughts on Saturday, but yeah, it's really good, but it's just, I feel like it wasn't marketed well, and I feel like the cover is also just, it's not cute. I really love this series. This is the first book. It's called Wait For You, and there are 4 books in the series, and they re-released with new covers. This is the 3rd book, and this is the 4th book, but they never re-released the 2nd book with a new cover, so I want to read the rest of the series so bad, but like the 2nd book has no new cover, and they're not selling the old book because they want to re-release it with a new cover, but this was like re-released over a year ago, so I wonder if they'll ever re-release it. I don't know if you have to read it in order, but I feel like you kind of need to, because like it's the same characters. Hopefully I'll eventually get to read the series one day. Please tell me I'm not the only one who's like this. Like I want to read this book. Like this book looks really good, but the words in this, like the ink is not dark enough. Like I don't even know if you guys can really see that, but like the ink is kind of like faded a bit. Like it reminds me of like a book you'd find at a used bookstore. Like the ink in this one, perfect. Like it's dark. It's like, do you guys see the difference? I don't know if you guys can even see the difference on camera. Like yeah, you can't really see the difference like that well, but the ink in this is like super easy to read. It's like very stark. It's not really focusing, but I don't know if anyone else is like this. I feel like there's certain types of books that I just want to read, but I know I never will read them because the text is not how I like it to be, and this is one of them. I'm always looking for holiday books when I come in. This is called The Holiday Honeymoon Switch, and this looks really cute. I haven't even heard anyone talk about this one, but it looks really cutesy, and Amy Lee, who wrote X's and O's, has like a little blurb on the back. It's I'm assuming probably about 2 people who like switch places or something. Looks cute. If I can recommend 3 books to you by Black authors that just came out this year, these are the ones I would recommend. When I Think of You by Maya Ariel. If you liked like Normal People or just like something that is a very realistic type of romance, you'll love this one. And then Curvy Girl Summer, the banter in this is so funny. I feel like the music over here is so loud. I'm gonna try to take you guys to the side. The banter in this is so funny. Like you will literally find yourself laughing out loud with this. It starts out with a spice scene and then there's like spice more at the end, but it's not like overly spicy. And it is like such a funny story. It's about a girl who's like going on all these dates and goes on a bunch of dating mishaps to try to find a boyfriend. And then this one's like a second chance romance. They like reunite after 7 years. And then Love Like the Sun. This book is beautiful. It is a very soft romance and it's also a friends to lovers romance. And the girl has to like save her business. All 3 of these are some of my I highly recommend them. I rated this one 4 stars, rated this one 4.5 out of 5 stars, rated this one 4.5 out of 5 stars. Like read all of them this year and love them. There are still so many books that I do still want to read, but I feel like I try to read diversely and these are really good. They're just need a little bit more hype. Guys, I got so many books. I literally got a total of I think 7, but I'm going to show you guys those later because I want to go into Sephora and see what they have in there. I have a few things I want to pick up in there and I feel like I'm just going to go straight home if I don't get them now. So I'm going to try to go get them and then I'll come back and give you guys a haul of the books that I got. I'll probably give you a haul with half of the books because I honestly just want to like read outside and I feel like the day is getting away from me. And I still have to go pick up dinner, but I will show you guys these books. But I ended up getting so many. Guys, all the Christmas decorations are out. Literally. There's so many nice decorations in here. There's so many people in here. So I'm going to try to show you guys these a little sneakily. So like I'm not just like showing a camera in everyone's face, but these decorations are so pretty. They have so many Christmassy like large things in here too. Let's see, I'm going to squeeze through here. Everything's like so squished in here, but I love all of this. I want to bring all of it home. It's so cute. Literally giving Christmas. I feel like Christmas decorations always get me in the mood for the holiday season. Like there's so much stuff in here. I love this fragrance so much. It smells so good. I had a bottle and then I don't know what happened to it. I swear my perfumes just disappear sometimes. I use Ouai's products so much more than I used to now that they're in Target because I never come to Sephora and I always use like, I mean, a million and one of those things, but their body cream I love so much. And I used to actually use Summer Friday's body cream more, but I just never come over here. So now I've been using this, but I had to pick up the body cream from Summer Fridays while I was here. They're getting their trees up out here and I am so excited. I'm coming back on Saturday with Brady to get our tree, I think. Just even though it's early, like I just really want to get my tree and they have so many good ones out here. I just kind of wanted to take a peek. Look at those. I always get them from this place because it's like they're a local place. They're so nice and I've just been getting my tree from here for years. I made a pack with lots of bags, like tons and tons of bags. I want to give you guys the book haul with half the books that I got, and then I think I'm going to show you guys the other half maybe while we're out reading, just because the sun is setting so fast and I do not want you guys to not be able to like read outside with me. So I think I'm going to take the other half of the books with me, and then I'll just give you guys the book haul there. I do want to show you guys some of the food that I picked up. If you guys have been following along, we've been doing like this whole like carnivore elimination diet. So like the first 2 weeks of the month we did where we only ate like meat or just like things that came from animals, and then like dairy and stuff. We didn't really have cheese though, because we're just like not big cheese people. And then the second week, which was last week, we added in vegetables, and this third week we are adding in fruit. And the reason for this isn't because of like weight loss or anything like that. I just want to see how my body feels when I add things back in. Like Brady, he added in cheese the other day and got like so, like he was in the bathroom like so long. Both times he had cheese twice, and we were like, well, maybe your body doesn't like cheese. And it's been nice to see how our body reacts, because we're adding in things like piece by piece, so you can easily know like, oh, this isn't working for my body like super fast, versus like if you eat something, sometimes it's like, is the food bad that I ate, or was it just like an off day? Like, no, you know easily. So we're adding back in fruit this week. We are not having any sugar or any like breads or anything like that. So it's kind of made it almost impossible to get stuff from like fast food places, because almost all fast food places have like bread or some kind of like bread included. So like I'm so glad we added in fruit, because I like was so hungry on the way home, and I could like get some fruit and just like munch on that. I also picked up some roast from this, the Apple Barn. I got this like last week and made a roast. It was like the best roast I've ever made in my entire life. So I got 2 more of those. Also got strawberries, blueberry. Let me just show you guys. These are all the fruits that I got. Again, so excited to be adding these back in. I can't imagine that anything would make me like not feel good by like eating fruit, but again, I've never tried. Like I would never know, you know what I mean? Because I've never taken like fruit out of my meals. So I'm excited to eat fruit this week, and also of course there are vegetables. Now for this haul, I want to give you guys a haul with half the books, but I'm going to give you the other half whenever we get outside. Maybe not when we get outside, after we read. I just want to read. Like I feel like the sun goes down so fast, and today was one of those days where I just was like, I need to read outside, and I have not done it yet. So I'm going to show you guys 3 of the books that I got. Again, I got 7 books, and these are all honestly different types of books. I did get a lot of historical fiction, which is not typical for me, but I've been really gravitating towards that genre. So these are the 3 books that I got. The first one is The Dust Bowl Orphans, and this is about the Dust Bowl, obviously, and it says, can 2 young sisters survive a cross-country journey on their own? It's told from 1935 to present day, and I think it's told in past and present timeline, I'm pretty sure. Initially when I heard about this book, I've heard great things about it. I picked it up in the bookstore, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like it, because the words just kind of looked like there wasn't a lot of dialogue. But I don't think I really looked through this book that much, because I started flipping through it and I was like, what was I talking about? Because every like page there's like someone talking. So really excited about that. This is by Suzette D. Harrison. I always link books below so you guys can look at the books below if you want to. I also picked up The Bitter Truth by Shanora Williams. I actually read Coach Me by this author. Super spicy romance if you guys are like wanting to read a book like that. Very, 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 very spicy. And I did not know that she writes other books. So this is a thriller, but she also writes fantasy. Someone said that she has a book. It's called Vicious Something. I'll try to see if I can find like the title of it, but I want to get into fantasy, and especially fantasy by Black authors, but I just don't really know where to look. And I kind of feel the same like when I first got into like historical fiction. I was like reading like all these books by like you know, really popular authors, which was great, but I wasn't getting those diverse reads, which I really love. And so I like Kristen Hanna's books really hooked me in with historical fiction. And then I feel like books like Yellow Wife and The Personal Librarian, those are the ones that just like kept me hooked, because I just felt so connected to the characters. So I didn't know that Shanora Williams writes different genres, and this says, an upstanding political candidate, a determined stalker, a shattering lost weekend. Now when his worst secret comes calling, how far will one man's elegant, all too devoted wife go to uncover the truth or bury it? And again, it doesn't have a lot of reviews. I think it only has 900 reviews on Goodreads, but I'm pretty sure it has a 4-star rating. And I've heard so many like great things about her books. I've heard that her books are like really bingeable. Like if you like books like Frida McFadden's books, or if you like books like Sharila Pena's books, that I should pick this up. So that's why I got it. I also picked up Kindred. This will be my first Octavia Butler book. I've never read anything by Octavia Butler, and I'm gonna be so honest, I just thought that like Octavia Butler's books sounded boring to me. But it's because I didn't know about them. So I started reading historical fiction, and so many of you guys are like, oh my god, you have to read Octavia Butler's books. Have you read anything? I was like, no, I don't know. And I think I thought that it was gonna be like a book of poetry or something like that. This looks so good. It says that it is a mix between science fiction and it's like historical fiction too, which again, that science fiction literally scared me. I was like, I'm not a science fiction girl. I've never read any science fiction. It's like too scary for me. Like, I don't know. It really was daunting. But then one of you guys actually told me about what the story is about, and I was like, that's what it's about? Like, I think I just thought it was like something else. But let me read the back of this. It says, Dana, a 20th century black woman, is celebrating her 26th birthday with her new husband when she's snatched from her home in California and transported to the antebellum South. Rufus, the white son of a plantation owner, is drowning, and Dana has been summoned to save him. Repeatedly drawn back through time, with each day growing longer and more perilous, Dana is forced to contend with the brutal legacy of slavery and white supremacy, not knowing if her life will end long before it has a chance to begin. That sounds amazing. Like, why did I never read the back of this book? And also, there's tons of dialogue on the inside. It like lots of page breaks, short chapters for the most part. Like, I just feel like this is gonna be a good book to read. I've heard great things about it, but I just always thought that the people who were raving about these books were like scholarly readers. You know, the ones that are like, they're reading the stuff that's like the classics. And I'm like, I don't know if we mesh, you know, like I just didn't know if like I would like that, but this sounds really good. So this will be my first Octavia Butler book. Again, I was telling you guys this in the bookstore. I used to be an English literature major, and I went to a liberal arts college, and so I had so many classes where I was reading books and would have to read them so fast and talk about them, and a lot of the time I would spark note, or I would just like not be interested in the books that we had to read, and I had to talk about them in class, and I just like did not care. I've always loved reading, but I feel like in college I had to read so many books I didn't want to read. It kind of took away that joy. So when I got back into reading after college in 2019, which was years after I got out of college, because I'm 32, so we moved back to the area, like away from where I went to college in 2018, and we did live in the town where I went to college for a while. We lived there for probably about 4 years, but it took a while. Like for me, it took about like 5 years for me to get back into reading, and when I got back into reading, I feel like I read a lot of like quick romances, lots of like cutesy like books, and I wasn't trying to read anything with any kind of depth because my brain felt like it was just full of mush, and I needed something to like fully decompress. And now I feel like I'm getting back to being able to read things that I enjoy, but also things that are gonna really stimulate my mind. And I definitely think romance can do that 110%. Like, have you read Kennedy Ryan's books? Like, you can definitely get your mind stimulated by reading romance, but I think that I didn't want to step out of that because I just felt like if I started a book I would be bored, and you guys know I don't DNF, so I just never did. So I'm really excited about these three. I'm gonna put up these groceries, and then whenever I get back I will show you guys the other books that I got along with my Sephora haul. We're gonna go outside and read for a bit because I need the sun. Hear me. It is like just so windy over the water all the time, but I ended up finishing this book. 3 stars, so cute. I've never read anything from Charity Shane, but I feel like I will definitely be reading more of her books in the future. It's very cute, very spicy, and just a fun Christmassy read. The rest of the Sephora haul and the book haul. I picked up so much today. If you guys are new here, we do stuff like this all the time, so I hope you'll stick around. I swear I'm book shopping in like every video, but it's because I read a lot. I've read 150 books this year, so I'm honestly not even mad about it. There can definitely be worse things to do. But I picked up some stuff from the Sephora sale and I didn't even realize that it was the last day of the sale. So I'm glad I actually went in, but these are like my tried and true favorites that I would have bought anyway, which is literally like why I went in there. I wasn't even planning on getting stuff from the sale. I picked up Gisou's honey infused hair perfume. I actually grabbed this because whenever I was in Vegas and we got our luggage stolen, I had this in there and I've actually had it for years. I think I got it in like 2020 and it's lasted that long because you really don't need a lot. It smells really good. It literally smells like honey. I'm gonna try to take this out so you guys can see the bottle. The bottle itself is honestly beautiful on its own. I just love this and I feel like it's a great way just to add a little bit of a fragrance to your hair. This is what the bottle looks like. It's so pretty. Then I also picked up this perfume, Juliet Has a Gun, Not a Perfume, Superdose, and this is a smaller container, but I wanted to get the large one, but they actually didn't have it. They didn't have it the last time I went in either, so I think they just sell out like really fast. This is a very popular fragrance. This is like a woody, kind of like warm and woody fragrance. I love it. It's so unique, and I guess it's like a perfume that if you put it on your body and like spray it and stuff, it smells different on every single person. Like I actually smelled it for the first time on my friend Taylor and I was like, whoa, what is that? But then I sprayed it on me and it smelled different, which I think is really cool. And then I also ended up getting Summer Fridays body lotion. This body lotion I've been using for probably like, I think 4 years now. It smells incredible and it works so well. People ask how I get my skin so soft. It's literally this lotion. I will say it is pricey. Like it's not cheap, but it is actually hydrating, and when it gets to be wintertime, this lotion and Ways body cream, those are the two that I just cannot do without because my skin, it gets so dry. And then I also picked up 3 of these. These are Summer Fridays lip butter balm, and they work so well. If you need like a lip balm that's actually gonna hydrate your lips, these are the ones that you have to pick up because they have like an oil base in them, so they actually hydrate your lips and you don't have to worry about them like actually, you know, you put it on your lips and then like 2 seconds later you need to like put something else on it again. I love these, and again I got 3 of them because every time I go in there they are sold out. Like I took these 3 and there's literally like were only 2 left in the stack. They sell out so fast. And then I also picked up Glossier's perfume. I actually got this, or I wanted to get this when I was in Michigan with Andrea because she had this fragrance on and she smelled so good. So I was like, oh my God, I literally need to get it. It is a beautiful bottle. And this one was actually pretty affordable. I think this one was like $75 or something. And I think this is another like warm fragrance. It kind of looks like it would be like florally, but it gives more like warm and like fall vibes, but like girly fall vibes. So those are all the things I picked up from Sephora. The perfumes, obviously like the Glossier one was new, but I was just like getting more perfume for the other stuff that I got, like the Juliet Has a Gun and the Gisou like perfume. All that stuff is stuff that I use all the time and I've been using for years. So for the book haul, I have 4 other books in here. These are the books that I picked up. I'm so excited to show these. I've been really trying to step outside of what I normally get and just not get like the same types of books over and over again. And it was kind of cool because when I was in the romance section, while I was in there, I was like, I've read that book, I've read that book, I've read that book. But it's made me excited that I'm like reading different genres too, because now I can get even more book recs. Like I've never worried that I would run out of books, but I've definitely worried about running out of books that are in my taste, because I feel like a lot of romance books are like heavy spice, and I feel like I do like those, but just like in small doses. Like give me a super spicy book and I'll take like one a month. And then the rest of the romance books that I want them to have like sprinkles of spice, like really in-depth story, something that's gonna make me feel all the feels, maybe a slow burn. But I feel like I have read a lot of romances that are like first page spice, second chapter spice, like, and I just am like, I don't even know you guys yet. Like I hate the trope where people are just like hooking up like friends with benefits, because it is so spice heavy and I feel like I don't get their connection. But I also think that maybe the reason for that is because my husband and I, we were friends first, and we were friends for years before we got together. And like he knew me like the back of my hand, and I love reading books like that where like the characters know each other so well and then they fall in love with that person, and not just like using them as like an object, but like really seeing them for who they are, like fully. So I always worried that I would just like run out of romance books like that. And now that I'm reading other like genres, I definitely don't worry about that. But also I feel like so many new authors are coming out with so many new books, which makes me excited. So the first book that I picked up is I Am Aya, The Way Home. This says, set amid Sag Harbor's vibrant African-American history, best-selling author Donna Hill weaves a stunningly rich story about finding the way home no matter how long the journey takes. I'm pretty sure this is about a woman whose dad gets sick, and I think she has like a tumultuous relationship with her dad. This is in contemporary fiction. And I'm pretty sure she doesn't want to go home to see him, but she like obviously has to because I think she's the only daughter. I'm pretty sure that's what it's about. And then it says, and the only one who may be able to help her uncover them, which she's uncovering family secrets that are hidden in the house, is her father's neighbor, Zach, who brings with him an attraction that's intense and instantaneously yet oddly familiar. So it seems like it has a little bit of romance, and those are the types of contemporary fiction or historical fiction books that I really lean towards, because I will forever be a romance girl at heart. Like I don't know if I ever want to read anything really that doesn't have at least a hint of romance. Like it needs a little bit, like fantasy, thrillers. I don't need the romance in that, but it is an added plus. But like pretty much everything else, I feel like I really like the romance. I also picked up River Sing Me Home. This is a book that I saw on TikTok, and I actually am going to be doing a video soon with more historical fiction recs on like TikTok and Instagram, so make sure you're following me there. I already did one and so many of you guys loved it. It's hard to find historical fiction book recs by Black authors if you don't know where to look, and so many of you guys have given me good recommendations. I hate when I see fire trucks go past. I always just like want to say a prayer for like anyone who may be affected. It's just like so sad because like you never know what could be happening. Like someone's house could be burning down or something, but you can say a prayer, hope that, you know, they're safe. And yeah, so this book, it says rare, moving, powerful, this beautiful page turning and redemptive story of a mother's gripping journey across the Caribbean to find her stolen children and piece her family back together marks the arrival of a remarkable new talent. Oh my gosh, there's 2 of them. That's gotta be big. That's crazy. I always feel so sad when I see those, because you just never know. Like, and also no one that has their house burned down or that has to call an ambulance or something knows they're gonna have to do it that day. Like, it's just because something happened, and I just feel so bad. Oh my gosh. Say a quick prayer for them, guys. Man, sorry, don't mean to like be a bummer, but I always feel so moved when I see that, because there have been times where, like, you know, I've had to call and you're just like in such a high stress state, and I am just praying for them. But yeah, so This looks like it's a really good story. It says it's about a woman who's on a plantation, and then I think in 1834, the Emancipation Act is pretty much like, hey, you guys can go free, you can do whatever you want, but then the plantation owner's like, psych, you actually can't go free. You guys are now gonna be my apprentices and I'm gonna keep you here. So pretty much like basically slaves. So she decides to run away, literally says that on the back of the book, and she runs away desperate to find her children, 5 of them who survived birth and were sold. So it's the story of a woman who's trying to like bring back her family together. Again, it's historical fiction. There was a point when I didn't really want to read a ton of historical fiction about like slavery, and I think the reason for that was because I felt like I knew not all there was to know, but like most of what there was to know. And I'm realizing as I've gotten older that I have so much still to learn, that the history books have left out so much of our history, that reading books like this, or just books that are like based on true events, it's connecting me to things that I didn't even realize existed, or people I didn't realize existed, and historical moments in history that need to be remembered. So I also feel like it humanizes the people who went through those hardships, because sometimes in history books it's like, in this day and age, something happened to such and such people, but it's like you're not saying like the person's name or feeling their emotions, and like, you know, in these books you do feel that. So I feel like I've really been gravitating towards learning about that type of history. I also picked up a romance, because you know I can't go to the bookstore without getting a romance. I freaking love Renee Carlino. I recently read her new book. I think it's called This Used to Be Us. I'm pretty sure. It was really good. I rated it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's one of those books that I feel like I will continue to recommend, because it makes you grateful for things that you didn't realize you needed to be grateful for. It's about a couple who's like getting divorced, and they are like trying to figure out how to navigate like having to be separated and stuff. And a lot happens within that. It's like not just like the only thing, but I feel like it left me feeling very grateful for just like friends, life, and all the things. But on the back of this it says, it was like we already knew each other, like we had met in a previous life. Memories that didn't exist began exploding in my mind like fireworks. I think that this is about a woman who meets a guy, and they have like a really like cute chance encounter, and then they don't really like hang out, but they just like see each other for a minute, and then years later she like ends up getting a boyfriend, but she still cannot stop thinking about this guy. I'm pretty sure that's what it is about, and it kind of is reminding of me of Before We Were Strangers, like the vibe, which I wasn't obsessed with that book by her, but because I liked her newest book and I read it this year, I almost feel like maybe I read Before We Were Strangers at the wrong time, because when I read that book, I was more into like my fluffy, cutesy romance reads. I wasn't really into anything hard-hitting that would make me cry. So I feel like maybe I read it at the wrong time. So I'm hoping that I really enjoy this one, because again, I loved her newest book. And then the last book that I picked up is Did You Hear About Kitty Carr by Crystal Smith Paul. This is about old Hollywood glamour. It says, Did You Hear About Kitty Carr is an insightful multi-generational saga that traverses the glamour of old Hollywood and the seductive drama of modern day showbiz. And this is on Reese Witherspoon's book club, and I trust her book recs. I read so many of her book recs, 7 Days in June, Honey and Spice, like all the ones that she picks specifically by Black authors have so much power and so much story to them that I really connect with the characters, and I don't want to put it down, and I want to constantly recommend it. This is historical fiction, and it just looks like it's going to be really good. So those are all the books that I picked up. I got 7 in total. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Lots of book shopping, but also lots of fun things that you guys know I always love to do, like going in my backyard and reading while we watch the sunset. Those are just some of my favorite things. And there will be another long, fun video coming on Saturday. You guys are getting an Amazon book haul very, very soon. I have some more book recs coming. I love supporting indie bookstores. I also love supporting physical locations like Barnes, but I also love buying from Amazon, because that is a way that I can support small authors that don't have books in Barnes and also don't have the books in indie bookstores. And I can buy these books and like give them money for the books that they took so much time to write and deserve attention for. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be on the lookout for the Amazon book haul and for another video on Saturday. I love you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.